What's happening, beautiful people? My name is Dirty Mike, and welcome back to the journey where I'm building different squads. We progress through divisional play, get involved in some tournaments, and as always, I'm dropping feedback on which players you gotta have in your starting 11, and other guys you should leave off the radar. And if you guys want to pick up any codes, new games, all of the above, Dirty for 3%, G2A, links down below in the description. Let's get involved. Today, my friends, we've got the overpowered cheap Bundesliga squad builder discount shopping tip under 15,000 coins. Everyone should be able to remake and replicate. If you enjoy the content, smash that like button. It tells me to keep pushing these kind of videos out. Woo, and I've got a lot on my mind. And we went with the 3-5-2. Originally, I had tried the 4-5-1, which is a formation I enjoyed last year. I know that it kind of had mixed reviews between some of the subscribers. I know a lot of people were on board, and then there was a good portion that was not, as he has Jovetic up front, and you don't want to run into a Jovetic team. He's still very deadly, and I actually played really bad with the 4-5-1. And that kind of brings me to my first question for everybody, and I want you to drop a comment as we just missed the finish. I got to put that into the back of the net. What are your top 3 formations in FIFA 15, and what are your bottom 3 formations? These are very common questions I get asked almost on the daily, and because I was playing poorly with that 4-5-1, that's where I made the changes. And I didn't make a video even though I didn't play that great, so you're missing a couple games. You never got to see them on display on YouTube. I will never put out a video that says the squad is good if the squad is not good. If it did not work for me, then you can count on me never making that video and saying it did. Sometimes I'll make a video though where I say, hey, this squad, I kind of got mixed reviews. As we're up 1-0, been all over him in the first half. He had no opportunities. I just want to keep my credibility as high as possible with the squad building. Whether it's expensive, it's cheap, it's definitely going to be my opinions based on the players that I've used and abused with as we just tuck it home. Immobile. I kind of like calling him a mobile. I remember last year he wasn't very good, so everybody was rocking with a mobile because it sounds like he's not going anywhere. He can't move. My opposition grabs one towards the end of the game. Jovetic with a finesse shot. Actually, his first shot on target. And it didn't change anything. We're progressing, and that's what I was saying. Last episode, I didn't lose any matches. And with that 4-5-1, I drew a match, and I lost a game. And that's when I had decided, oh my goodness, we've got to make changes. Because my opponents weren't better than I was. At least that's how I felt. I'm not trying to downplay anything. I just was not able to get into the flow. It might have been the personnel in that formation did not flow together well, but I just was disappointed in the 4-5-1. I don't know if it's in my bottom 3 formations yet, but last year I liked it a lot better as Kalu with the classic ball roll into the finish, and I've talked about that a lot. I'm going to make a tutorial with finishing as well as the ball roll. I think it's one of the most effective skill moves this year. If you are able to ball roll and then tap it near post, it works about 95% of the time. It seems to be almost an automatic finish. But let's talk about the squad because we've got a lot to discuss. And you don't see me play the 3-5-2 very much. Last year, I didn't like it in a competitive fashion. I didn't think it worked very well in higher divisions. This year, my opinion has changed because crossing is now a lot more difficult. And if you get big center backs such as I have with Santana, Naldo, Top Rack, these guys cover a lot of ground, and they dictate what your opponent is going to do. I have Adler Net, who I thought was a really good goalkeeper. No problems with him, no stupid mistakes, as we get a nutmeg there, I think, with De Bruyne. We're just waxing, faxing, and relaxing all over the opposition right there. 3-0 halftime. He hasn't done anything, and somehow we only have 2 shots on target, but we have 3 goals. Welcome to EA's logic. But we're not done as we draw a penalty kick, and I've been getting a lot of fouls in the box. This year, they will call them. You can better believe that fouls will be called outside the box, inside the box, and I'm loving the free kicks. You can actually score them, and you get opportunities. That kind of rounds us out. We had a very dominating a match there. We're trying to progress. We're trying to make moves. And I thought the Santana Naldo was a good combination, and Top Rack's pretty fast, so if you use him as an outside center back in the 3-5-2, very helpful. We've got Barami as well as Bender, and I went with 2 extremely defensive-orientated CDMs instead of my usual, ooh, we almost got a deep shot, instead of my usual center mids or CDMs. Like, I love using guys such as Gundogan, who I always screw up his name, or Modric. Like, I enjoy both of those types of players. They're not the big dominant CDMs as we go up 1-0. Immobile with the finish. But I've been mixing it up a little bit. Some formations, it really benefits you to have that defensive-orientated type of center mid. I think that Fellaini, even Diaby in the BPL are great options. They're big, and they just make their presence known. And there's the ball roll. You can't get away from it. as De Bruyne tucks it into the back of the net, and I'm loving that. I just think it's a great animation. It makes keepers look silly. If you're good with timing, it shows that you got a little bit of class in your gameplay, and you guys know I'm all about having pretty gameplay. I don't want to just win. I would prefer to win with nice goals when possible. Sometimes the sweat needs to be on point. I've also been using this new skill move a lot. I'm loving it. I'll probably bump out some sort of tutorial with the new skill move next week, so you can count on seeing that. De Bruyne as a cam worked out just fine. I'm not sure if he's as good as last year, but he's still very reliable. He's still very consistent. He gives you that 5-star weak foot, the 4-star skill moves. He can facilitate to the strikers, the wingers. Draxler's a left mid, big downgrade. It's not that he's a different type of player, but he's not made to be a winger. He's made to be a central orientated player on the pitch, and that's no longer what he is. So we get in the box and Billy starts it out. And he was pretty solid, actually. I got to talk about him in a second. We got Farfan as my right mid. You can use him as a right winger in a lot of different formations. And he's not what he was last year. I know that he's had a skill downgrade. I haven't really put my finger on exactly what the big difference is, but I just didn't feel like he was nearly as dominant as he was in FIFA 14. He was one of the best outside midfielders or wingers last year, regardless of rating. As look at Kalou, just busting it wide open, and we finished near post. You got to love touch it around the keeper. Just love touch it. And that's the key with finishing from inside and even outside the box. A lot of people are having trouble because you're putting too much power. It's very sensitive this year, and unless you're using a chip, everything needs to be very soft. Otherwise, it's just going to sky high, and it makes you look silly, like you don't know what you're doing. And that's just something we've built up over time. The last couple of FIFAs, it has been you need to fill up the power bar heavy when you're shooting from 25 yards if you really want to put it into the top corner. But that goal from De Bruyne, instant replay, wow. Wow, that is lovely, and he didn't want any more of that. So we're going undefeated, and I love that. So we're 7-1-1. Should be about ready to progress from Division 9 here. And we're up to a good start. I need to get my pass accuracy up. I don't like 79%. I like to be 80 and up. I've talked about that. 80 and above is where you want to be. And I thought Kalou and Immobile were both good. Kalou was outstanding, actually. He's not really a hidden gem. I feel like every year he's really good in FIFA. He's got good size, 4-star skill move. He can finish. And he's got kind of a collection of ways to score goals. Immobile was okay. He was solid. He was good. He wasn't in Ramos. He's not going to be at that level. So don't think that he's going to equal up to Ramos or Lewandowski, but he's still a good option in the Bundesliga. If you can get him for 2,500 coins, under 3,000 coins, still a great pickup. And as for the pros, front five has awesome shooting, good first touch. The defensive presence, these big dudes pushing everybody all over the pitch. Cons, I wish we had a little bit more speed in the strikers and the wings. I mean, Draxler's not really going to burn people the same way. Kalou had 5 goals and an assist. I can't hate on the man himself. But if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter and Facebook at DirtyMikeUSA, and I have a lot more content coming for you ASAP. And if you didn't notice, the squad was a 9 out of 10. It's going to get you wins, I promise.